Hello class, this is Professor Morrison and this is your presentation regarding Annotated Bibliography Guidelines. A bibliography is a list of books or sources that you use to write a paper. An annotation is summary, explanation, commentary, evaluation, and criticism regarding those sources. What are they about? Why are they important to your topic? Who is the author? Why is the author qualified to speak on this subject? Therefore, an annotated bibliography is a list of sources on your topic with commentary on each source written by you in your own words. This commentary might summarize what the source is about, how it relates to your topic, which parts are particularly relevant, why the author is believable, and whether or not you agree with the information presented. Each entry in your annotated bibliography will look like this. You will have the MLA formatted works cited entry in alphabetical order because that's what MLA dictates. And then you will have your annotation. So you will have 3 sources in alphabetical order, each one with a works cited entry and an annotation. The purpose of an annotated bibliography is to help you keep a running log of the research you've done and be able to quickly look back at its contents and their usefulness. An annotated bibliography also provides a starting point when researching a topic you want to discover more about. Your annotated bibliography is a starting point for your research. As you look for information, make a list of the sources you find and evaluate each one. Now, you only need to include 3 sources in the annotated bibliography that you turn in for this class, but you are encouraged to continue the process even after that assignment is over. You may want to print out any sources you find in order to write on them, or you could save them in a folder, or you could use the library system where you save things to their folder on the cloud, or you could do like I like to do and you could send them to your Google Drive and then make a folder for them there. Whatever way works for you is what you should do. You should begin exploring in search of sources for your annotated bibliography. I know you have a big stack of them already, and you've been evaluating them, which is a good first step. Now think about which ones you're most likely to use at this point in your paper. You're not married to them. You're not committed to them. If you decide not to use those sources later, that's okay. But for now, you need to find 3 sources that look the most promising. To illustrate what to do for the annotated bibliography, the next few slides will present an example of a source for an annotated bibliography about an article titled Virtual Reality Disruption: Will 3D Technology Break Through to the Educational Mainstream? As you explore sources, make certain to write down the following information about any sources you are considering. The author's name, title, and credentials, the title of the article, publication information, and anything that you know needs to be accounted for when you do your works cited entry using MLA formatting. Next, you're going to start preparing the annotation. Your annotation will be 1 paragraph for each source. And you will probably have between 8 and 12 complete sentences in each paragraph. The first 4 to 6 complete sentences are the summary, and they accomplish all or most of the following. The very first thing you need to do is provide the background and credibility of the author. Why is this author qualified to discuss this subject? Make sure we know that first. Then state the main focus or purpose of the work. Briefly describe the contents and indicate the possible audience for the work. The next part of this same paragraph is the evaluation. Write 4 to 6 complete sentences that accomplish all or most of the following. Describe any special features of the work that were unique or helpful. Point to any defect, weakness, or suspected bias. Mention important conclusions or observations reached by the author. And at the very end, evaluate the usefulness or relevance to your research topic. Will you use this source? Maybe not, maybe so. In addition, make sure everything is in your own words. There should be no quoted material at all. Here is an example of an annotation. We're going to look at it more closely in the following slides. On the next slide, you'll see the same annotation color-coded by specific criteria: background and credibility of the author, possible audience, main idea, contents, and usefulness to the topic. Okay, so we see that this person chose to start with the main idea. I would have preferred that we start with why it's credible, but they fit that into the second sentence. And so that works fine also. As long as it's in the first or second sentence, I'm happy. And we see the main idea in this first sentence. This article is about, and then we see how the author is credible. Well, this person is the co-founder of this institute, a consultant here, and an executive editor here. We have a lot of green, which are the contents in their own words, no quotes. We see that the audience is basically teachers. You could even say the possible audience is a teacher. And at the very end, we're going to say, this article will help me or not help me with my research paper because, and then we're going to give the reason why. So yours should be about the same shape and size. Here is a completed example of an annotated bibliography entry. Now it's important to note that everything else is good here except for PowerPoint would not allow me to use hanging indent. You absolutely must use hanging indent. Also be sure to alphabetize your sources. And then we see how we have our works cited entry, and with a nice long URL, that's 8th edition, here you go. And then we have our annotation. And then we would just keep going with 2 more. So what is your mission for the annotated bibliography? Your mission is to locate 3 sources on your topic. Write a works cited style entry for each one. Look for any credentials you can find about that author and note them. Make your own notes and write your annotated bibliography from your notes. This is how you will avoid plagiarism. One question that is frequently asked is, are the sources in my annotated bibliography the same as the ones in my paper? Well, I mean, it's up to you. It's a sampling of what you have so far. You might even end up getting more. You might find out that the sources you thought were wonderful are not so wonderful. That's fine. Just because it's in your annotated bibliography does not mean it has to be in your paper. Another frequently asked question is, do my notes have to look like the ones in the example? Well, not exactly. However, this would definitely earn an A if it looked like this throughout the whole paper. So this is a model for you to follow. It doesn't have to look exactly the same, but it's a really good idea to make it look as close as possible. Do you have any questions? Please let me know.